Hey, everyone, all with my group membership where we talked about how to shift your mindset to actually approach goals in a way that you can actually achieve them for 2023. Now, there's a million videos on this. I'm not going to give you tactical strategies on, where to place the goals or anything like that. This is going to be totally focused on neuroscience and how you actually perceive and see the goals in the way that you word them to yourself so that they are something worth achieving. So I just wanted to share this with you guys as an audience to see if you may benefit. So first, I want to start by going over the questions that I asked my men's group, which were, what am I most proud of this year? Where do I feel like I missed the mark? And what are my goals in 2023, relationally, spiritually, mentally, and physically? So if you want to pause the video and answer those questions for yourself, it will help you as we come to a later part in the video. Welcome back. Hope you have your questions answered. And now I'm going to ask you a question. What makes us actually make a goal? What actually inspires us to make a goal? Just give yourself a second to see if you can answer. Usually, the conclusion we come to is lack. We feel there's something missing in our lives. It's driven from fear. It's driven from not feeling like we're good enough. So technically, it's coming from a place of survival, which means that the goals that we are setting are just getting us to a place where we feel safe, not getting us to a place where we are going to reach our potential. I'm sure you may have heard the quote, we don't fail because we set the bar too high. We fail because we set the bar too low and we end up succeeding, right? So we set a mediocre goal, maybe because we're afraid that our goal is too high to achieve and we're going to fail. But even when we accomplish that goal, it's not really worth much to us. So today, I want us to think about goals in a different light, not just as something that not just as something that is a way to survive or to just get past something or because it's created out of necessity, but something that actually pushes us towards our potential. So how do we do this? How do we understand the difference between a safe goal and a goal that pushes us to our potential? The first thing is it has to be big enough that it actually changes us. It actually changes our life. And I learned this technique from someone named Grant Cardone, if you're familiar with him. He is the creator of the 10X movement, which is essentially it's going to take 10X the amount of effort and work to get to the life that you actually want to live, the goals that you actually want to achieve. And the quote that really sticks out and hits home that he said is, if it doesn't change you, why would you change? For example, everybody has this goal where they want to lose weight. Let's say 5 pounds. I want to lose 5 pounds this year. And every year we have the same goal. Why? Because losing 5 pounds isn't really going to have a big impact on my life. Now, if I said, I want to become a bikini competitor and get first place on stage, that's a completely different lifestyle change, goal, something that actually motivates you because it's going to have a huge impact on your life. So number one, the goal needs to be big enough that it actually changes your life. Number two, it has to actually matter to you. Sometimes we just set goals because everybody else is doing it. Somebody else encourages us to do it. They say, oh, you would look so much better if you lost some weight. You would look so good if you had a six pack. When every year, if we have the same goal on our list, maybe it's getting a six pack, and maybe we're not doing that thing because we don't actually care about it. And we're just putting it on the list because we feel like it's something we should do, but there's not a deep enough reason for us to achieve it. So, number three, you have to focus on what you want and not what you don't want. And this is going to be the biggest perspective and mindset shift in this whole lesson. And you can apply it to any part in your life, not just goals. It's very important. What we feed the brain is what it tries to prove us correct. This is because of something called the reticular activation system. Reticular activation system filters information into our subconscious and tells us what's important versus what's not. And whatever is important, our brain is going to try to prove us right. It needs it to be true. So that is the example where everybody says, I'm looking for a Toyota to buy, and all of a sudden I see Toyotas everywhere. We are looking for the confirmation that this thing is in existence, that we're going to have it. So this is important when it comes to phrasing your goals, because there's a difference between saying, I want to stop being fat versus I'm going to be healthy and fit. Because when you say the first one, I want to stop being fat, all your brain hears is fat. And what does it try to do? It tries to prove itself correct. So instead of getting healthy and fit like you actually want from when you say, I don't want to be fat anymore, your brain just says fat, 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 fat. So whatever you associate with being fat, you're going to do. You might skip out on healthy meals. You might go for junk food. You might skip out on your workouts. You might watch TV instead. All those little things are going to keep adding up. And you're going to ask yourself, why am I still so fat? Because you keep saying to yourself, fat. So you have to start focusing on what you want, not what you don't want. And once again, this applies to every single thing in your life, not just goals on fitness and spirituality and whatever, but in relationships. For another example, just so that you can really drive this home, you're in a relationship, maybe you're getting upset at your partner all the time and you're like, I just wish they would stop being so critical. Now all you're thinking about is critical. So your brain is going to look for ways that they're critical, and you're going to be hypersensitive to anything that could be critical, even if it's not, right? I'm sure you have gotten in a fight with your partner where you've taken something the wrong way. It's because that is what you are hyper-focused on finding evidence on. So if you want your partner to stop being hypercritical and starts to be more complimentary, you need to just focus on the complimentary aspect. And then your brain will focus on the complimentary things that they do for you and find evidence for that. It'll seem like magic when you actually do this, but it completely changes everything in your life. So that is number 3. Number 4 is you got to get some skin in the game. You have to be invested in whatever goal you want to achieve. You cannot just say, I want to get fit and healthy and not go to the gym, not pay for a trainer, not pay for food that's healthy or a workout plan or whatever it is. You have to invest something in it. You have to make yourself sweat a little bit. You have to put some type of skin in the game to motivate you to do it. Number 5, get someone to hold you accountable. Join a group fitness class, get a trainer, get a coach, get a therapist. Enlist a friend who always does Spartan races. And I'm using a lot of fitness examples just because that's what we've kind of been talking about as the theme, but you can do this for anything, right? If you're trying to cut back on alcohol, you can go to AA. There's support groups for basically any group that you could imagine. Get yourself invested in a group that wants to support you, that is already doing it themselves, that you will feel indebted to do the work for, right? Make doing the goal and accomplishing the goal like bigger than yourself. Even if you have to think about your children are watching you. If you don't have children, who is watching you succeed, right? Who is counting on you to succeed? And this could be, people who are relying on you to step into your purpose and passion. Do not let them down because you don't feel like you can do the thing. This is the time to start stepping into your power. Okay. So then the next thing and the last thing is trust that the universe makes no mistakes. And I don't want this to counteract anything that I've just said, but sometimes we set goals and they get thrown completely out of the window because of all the chaos that's going on in our lives, which is understandable. But if you have the mentality that these things are coming up because they are challenges that are teaching you lessons to guide you into your deepest desire, that you actually need to rise up to these things in order to actually be ready for that desire to manifest, you will approach problems in your life with such a different perspective, such a different mindset, such a different toolbox than you ever did before. And it takes you out of the victim mentality and places you directly into someone who takes everything that they get at in life and uses it for their own good. Okay, so obviously this isn't as interactive as the men's group, but I would love to hear any questions that you have below, any perspective shifts that you might have had from listening to this video. And now that we're at the end, now that you've kind of gotten the summary of the different points on how to set your goals or how to reframe them, I want you to go back to the goals that you set in the beginning and see how you can start rewording them with all of the tools that we've just said. So if you have any goals such as, I want to stop being fat, or I want to stop being lazy, how can you reword those? And put a before and after in the comment section below, just to encourage other people to see how they can shift their mindset the same way. And other than that, I love you guys. I appreciate you always. I'm super excited to start the new year with you and get this YouTube show rolling. So I hope you have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.